What is up, guys? This is the 19th episode of Beneath the Surface. I'm your host, Nick the Red. Right now, I'm Sans' partner, though my buddy is supposed to be coming and sitting down with me in a few minutes. Unfortunately, Bunny is still feeling a bit under the weather, so she's not going to make it today. So you're just stuck with my ugly ass. By the way, this is Beneath the Surface, a nerdy ass podcast where I sit down with a co-host and we just chat about all things nerd. With me this week is going to be Turquoise Tyler.
Stop calling me that.
I know he hates it. He hates it with a passion. So, Tyler P, what's up, man?
What's up?
So, I personally have had a wild freaking week.
Yeah, I know you've been caught up in the moving and everything.
Yeah, closed on the house, and no sooner did I find a laundry list of problems that I have to fix, and everybody's just like, "Welcome to home ownership." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
On the flip side of it, though, I mean, it's we're settling in pretty well. We got most of our big major furniture over now, so it's just little stuff here and there, tweaking things the way I like it. Our next big project is if we can ever get a hold of TDS. I was on the phone with them for almost an hour today. Well, not even with them. No, I was on hold for like an hour today.
You're talking to a robot, hearing some really crispy music.
Oh yeah, no, it was great.
The thing about TDS that I'll say, because we have them up at my house, pain to deal with, but compared to like Comcast or any of the other internet providers I've had living around the country, TDS has gone out the least for me.
Honestly,
normally it's the power goes out and that's what makes the TDS go out.
Yeah, honestly, the best one that I've had so far is Cox Cable up in Virginia when I lived up there.
That's just Comcast.
Because, well, yeah, now it is, but it wasn't back then. You gotta remember, I'm
dinosaur.
Ancient.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, the best one that I've had was Cox. Like, they were very stable, very, very consistent. We rarely had power out. We rarely had service outages, that kind of thing. But, like, with TDS right now, it's... So... Not to go into too much detail about it, because I don't want to bore anybody. This is a nerdy podcast, not a let's listen to Nick complain for an hour.
Yeah, we're talking about home ownership and things like that.
Those know, very right? Nerdy. Not very nerdy. However, so last week is when the week before I scheduled it, right? I scheduled for them to come out. They said they wouldn't be able to come out until the 16th to go ahead and install our services. I'm getting fiber, 1 gig fiber, and it's a really good deal. I mean, $70 for life.
Yeah, like that's
really good
for fiber.
And that's all we need is internet. We don't need TV, we don't need phone, that kind of thing. So we're just going for the one, the fiber.
Yeah.
So they came out last week to do a survey and ask, like, okay, where do you want your service to come in at, that kind of thing. The original owners had the service coming in by the garage, and I guess they just ran it up into the attic and over. I decided I wanted it to come through the den, because I have a den now, which I'm converting into just a game room.
Yeah, I figured.
And so that's like, and it's central to the house, so it's like the best place to have the service come into the house.
Yeah, because then everything kind of just reaches out.
And then just branches out from there. I mean, it's gonna be easy enough because it's going to be on an interior wall, so I can just run my fish tape up or down, really, and grab the cables and hook them up, because I'm planning on putting Ethernet in all the bedrooms and in the living room. But yeah, I know it's just going off and going off and going off. Anyway, so the survey guy came out there and was like, yeah, we'll get it set up here. We'll get this, that, and the other.
Go in and mute the notifications.
I don't know how to do that. Oh, there you go. Boop, boop. Anyway, yeah. So survey guy came out, was like, oh yeah, we can put it right there. We'll schedule for the install on the 16th. Come to find out, TDS contacts the Digit people, the people that mark the services and whatnot. They contact them and contract them to come out and lay out where the stuff is.
Yep.
They never showed up.
Go figure.
So the TDS dig crew showed up and
they're
said,
like, nothing's marked
"Oops,
out.
nothing's marked out. We can't do this."
Yep.
So then, instead of contacting the TDS guy, the technician, and letting him know, the technician showed up today at 1.
And it's like, I can't do anything.
Saw that nothing was run, and my roommate, instead of going, Nick's probably going to want this done in some way, shape, or form, let's go ahead and just have the temporary service run along the side of the house where the original service was, put it up in the box, and then have it go through the attic, because then we could just drop it down into the den from the attic.
Yeah.
No big deal, because they can do that. Like, if you like, just run it through the attic, they'll just run it through the attic. He said, nope, he wants it coming in the den, so I guess we'll just have to reschedule. So now we're sitting here. Yeah, we're sitting here without internet again, and so far they haven't like billed the account yet. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if TDS sends me a bill for this month,
there's gonna be hell to pay.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna go right down to their office, because they got an office right here on Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gross.
Yeah, I believe it's Gross.
So I'm probably gonna swing by there and be like, "Hey, what the hell?"
Yeah, like, come on, dude.
So anyways, enough of life, the universe, and everything. How are you guys doing out there in Mathemagic Land? We haven't actually had just like a nice conversation with the chat in a while.
No. Yeah, it's been a minute.
I figured we might hit up a Q&A session if we get anybody actually watching us today.
For all, like, 2 people.
If not, then I'll just ask you a bunch of personal and probing questions.
Oh, perfect. That's what I love.
Yeah. Anyway, dude, the Final Fantasy set.
It just keeps on rolling.
It just keeps going. I was looking up earlier, and I've been watching like stuff coming across my feed in YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, people are like,
it's crazy.
Just, dude, the way that the set is like I wouldn't say warping the meta, but it's definitely it's shifting the meta. It's hurting the meta.
Because the cards are insane.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah. Like, I'm okay with the meta being shaken up a little bit. Yeah. Because that's
God forbid, get the mouse package out of Standard and Pioneer.
I know, right?
I'm so sick of seeing it. I've quit playing Arena completely because I don't want to boot in and get turn 3'd by
get turn 3'd by a bunch of mice. But I mean, like, it's kind of it's a very I don't want to say diversive, but it's very galvanized. It's a very galvanizing set, because you have the purists, like the traditionalists, the purists, who are like, this is Universes Beyond stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that in our metas. That should be relegated to Modern. Yeah. Modern's already insane as a format.
Yeah.
Leave the insane stuff in Modern. Leave us, leave our Standard alone. Be. But then there's the other half that are like, you were okay with cyber robot ninjas.
Yeah,
in
because
Magic.
Just because it was in universe.
You're okay with, talking animals in Magic. You're okay with, dragon gods showing up in Magic. But
this is where we draw the line.
With big sword,
because
is a bridge too far.
Because it says Final Fantasy.
I think it's because it says Universes Beyond.
Yeah, I mean, at this point where I'm at with it, because at first I was very like, I don't know how to feel about Universes Beyond and Standard, because it gets into the whole discussion of the Fortnite-ification of Magic the Gathering.
I can see that.
Where it feels like as time has gone on, Magic is losing its own identity.
I mean, it's and I'll be honest with you, like, that's part of the reason. It wasn't a big part, but it was a part of the reason why I kind of stepped away from Magic.
I mean, and I would argue Magic's identity really started to slip post War of the Spark, because that to me felt like one of the biggest story arcs they had set up for well over a decade. I mean, this is a story arc that started in Lorwyn with the introduction of the Lorwyn 5.
Yeah, I'd say it even started like before that, during not Future Sight. No, it was Future Sight.
Well, Future Sight was the end of the Mending. That was the end of OG.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, is because that kind of started the whole, like, Nicobolus being a whiny villain, villain.
I only say Lorwyn because in Lorwyn, that's where we get our first taste of things happening, because if I'm not mistaken, that is where a Johnny's mentor is killed, which led to him showing up in Alara as a Johnny Vengeance. If I'm not mistaken, that is where in the lore that happens.
Lorwyn's story had nothing to do with Nicobolus.
Well, I know because it had to do with the Eventide and all that.
Well, it had to do with the Aurora.
Yeah, the Aurora
and
happening.
Kulfener's Sapperling. Like
Yeah.
Kulfener was kind of the driving force,
Mhm.
and then like think of the Aurora as almost like the Mending, really.
Yeah.
It's where it just basically flopped everybody's
Yeah.
alignment. So
because it's something that just happens on
right.
Lorwyn. Apparently.
It just happens on Lorwyn every couple of hundred years, and
Yeah.
then Kulfener's Sapling
Mhm.
caused it to happen early.
Yes, that is. So I remember that stuff. I just I'm trying to remember that because Ajani, that is Ajani's whole driving force to initially oppose Bolus.
I think that started in the Alara block. I think that actually
did that happen in the Alara block?
Yeah,
like he kills him and
Lorwyn and Dustmore, or not Dustmore,
Eventide.
Lorwyn, Eventide, Morningtide, and Shadowmoor.
Shadowmoor.
Yeah.
Somewhere I forget how they're exactly arranged, but
well, it's Lorwyn and Eventide, and then Morningtide, or it's Shadowmoor and then Morningtide.
Shadowmoor. Okay, yeah,
because it's day, night, night, day.
Makes sense. Okay.
That's basically what it was. It's basically that the world got flipped on its head. Everybody's alignment changed from Lorwyn being like pixies and fairies and nicey nice, and then Eventide happened and everybody is evil now.
Yeah.
And everybody who was evil is now good somehow. And then it was Shadowmoor, where it was more of that, where things were changing. The changelings were changing a lot, and then they jumped. So, but yeah, no, I think Johnny Vengeance came out in the Alara block, and it was the Alara block that really started that whole like story.
I believe it was Conflux that he came out in.
Conflux, maybe,
because that was the middle set.
Yeah, that was the middle set.
It was like the little weird one, the middle child.
Well, that's the thing, is the middle sets were always kind of the tiny sets that were transitions between the first and the second.
1 second.
You're good. They know that he's working, so he has to get up occasionally. I mean, grab something and just come back. You're going to come back anyway.
Let me not fall.
But yeah, so kind of transitioning back into the whole Final Fantasy changing up a lot of the standard and all that stuff like that. Like, there are really a lot of powerhouse cards that are in that set that just, I think it's gonna warp most of the metas, like for several different formats. I mean, I've already been hearing a lot of talk, at least locally, about how Noctis
it's Noctis
is going to warp
Commander.
CDH for Commander.
Yes.
Especially with how we were doing like the Winnabox tournaments and whatnot, people bringing their big powerful decks and whatnot. I think we're going to see a lot of Esper decks revolving around Noctis.
Yes, because it's a 3-card combo.
It's a 3-card combo.
It's very consistent,
and it's very easy to get out.
Yes,
you could literally get it out probably like turn 2.
Yeah, if you get
reasonably
good setup, because it would be what, turn 1.
Turn 1, you get all your ramp out.
Yeah, you go
turn
Island.
Turn 2, you tutor.
Island, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. Turn 2, you would play like a.
Or I mean, if you're playing CDH, dude, like you're probably running like.
Sorry, like Grim Monolith, your Moxen that are legal.
So you're getting out a ridiculous amount of mana. You can easily convert that mana into the colored mana you need to get Noctis out, and then you can easily tutor up for 1 white and 1 black. You can tutor up the 2 other pieces that you need.
Yep.
If you didn't already draw them.
Yeah, because because the only other 2 pieces you need are both artifacts, so they're very easy to snag in those colors between all your different tutors.
Yeah, all your different tutors and whatnot. I mean, you literally just demonic tutor for one of them, and you can enlighten tutor and leave it on top for the next turn. So,
but I mean that's one. I know the new Tifa has been seeing a lot of speculation for standard.
That's why it's so gross, because she's what, a 2-drop? She's a 2-drop commander, because
2-drop 1/2.
or not commander, 2-drop 1/2.
Yeah.
that then doubles her power every time a land comes out,
Mhm.
and you can play. I've been seeing a lot of talk about there's that buff spell that buffs
Yep.
them and then landfalls, or
Yep.
like allows
Puts a
you to put
land
another
out.
land out.
Yep.
So
You
it's
do
like, oh,
that.
we're gonna buff, and then we're also gonna play a land, which doubles your power. Then we're
Yep.
gonna double it again.
Yep, you do that. There is a lot of talk of, I'm trying to remember which buff spell it is. It's the one that's played a lot in the mono red mouse package.
Monstrous
Monstrous Rage.
Rage.
Yep, you can Monstrous Rage on her. Because a lot of the deck lists aren't mono green, they're Gruul.
Right.
It's a lot
Well,
of
especially
Gruul.
in standard, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of Gruul.
Yeah, because Gruul, because on top of that, you just run the mouse package too.
I mean,
just in case.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
But that's a really interesting deck. There's a lot of talk about Cloud.
Which
the
one?
mono white Cloud.
Oh, okay.
The one.
Oh,
that's
the better version of
the Stoneforge Mystic.
Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, just
that's now
inherently better
standard.
Stoneforge. I've even seen some lists. There's a really interesting Orzhov list. So black white for involving Cecil, the new flip Cecil card, and Bob, good old Dark Confidant. It actually is going to see play in standard. I don't know how big of a list it will be, but it's been published out there, and it's.
I mean, the fact that Bob is back results. In standard.
The fact that Bob is back in standard and is a $2 mythic.
Yeah,
like it is.
And he's not legendary, so you can run 4 of them.
For all intents and purposes, he is irrelevant. Unless this Cecil deck goes crazy, we are living in a day and age where a card that was considered one of the icons of Modern back in the day. He was up there with Tarmogoyf.
100%.
And Snappy is unimpactful.
Right. That's kind of what we're kind of getting at. Is honestly, it's the fact that these sets have been coming out, and the power creep is just so real.
Yeah, it's got to hit a point eventually. I don't know when that point will be, because I figured it was like 3 sets ago.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we were seeing even back in Duskmourn.
But see, I think if that were to happen, right? If the power creep or the power level whatnot bubble bursts, and we get a set that's just going to be completely unimpactful, it's not going to sell.
No.
And if it doesn't sell,
Wizards is going to be.
Why would Wizards want to make stuff like that?
Well, the issue is that because it is still a game, and because sets aren't played within themselves, you can't just keep power creeping, because that impacts them more, because who is going to want to buy a reprint? Who's going to want to buy?
And also, if you think about it, ever since they extended standard and they made standard now,
it's
3 years.
It's like pseudo pioneer
at this point. Yeah, like you've got 3 years worth of sets, and they're putting out like 12 sets a year.
Yeah.
Moving forward, it's going to be 12 standard sets a year.
It feels like, because we're getting, I think it's still 4 standard sets a year is what they said.
But the Universes Beyond are like side sets still, but yet they're going to be standard legal.
I think some of them will be. I think they're still going to specify which ones are.
I mean, from what I've been reading online and the press releases that they put out, they've said from now on, Universes Beyonds that are coming out from Final Fantasy forward are going to be standard legal cards.
That's crazy. I mean, because that means that later this year, when Spider-Man, we already knew Spider-Man was going to be standard legal. I guess that means Avatar is going to be standard legal.
And then we still have Edges of Eternity coming out this year.
That's the
so
next
if you think about it, what we had this year, right? 2025. We had, what was the first set that was released in 2025?
First set of this year, I believe, was Aether Drift.
Aether Drift. Yeah, it was Aether Drift.
Because Aether Drift came out right after Innistrad Remastered.
Right. And it was happening in January, because we were like, what the hell? They're releasing.
Yeah,
they're releasing
they always do that now with the remaster sets.
A remaster set, and then immediately the week after they're releasing.
It was like 2 weeks.
Set. So so we had Aether Drift, we've had Duskmourn.
Duskmourn was before Aether Drift.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah. So Duskmourn was end of last year.
So it was Aether Drift. What was the next standard set then?
Tarkir.
Yes, Tarkir. See, I haven't been keeping up with it, honestly.
Dragonstorm Tarkir.
So we have Aether Drift, Tarkir, now Final Fantasy.
It'll be Edges of Eternity.
And Spider-Man.
And I guess Avatar, because Avatar comes out
November. Out at the end of the year. Yeah, that's 6 standard sets this year.
In 1 year.
And that's not including the fact that we also had the remastered set.
We had Innistrad Remastered.
And then
We haven't got any other like
we
side
haven't really
products.
got any like side.
It's been a lot of
projects.
secret layers this year.
Yeah. And
Which-
then honestly, ever since they changed out the secret layer format, where they're going from print on demand.
Yeah.
Hey Minty,
what's up?
Glad that you're watching.
And let me get on my soapbox for a second.
Go for it. I've been on my soapbox like all the
it's-
time here. Yeah, go for it.
It's Tyler's turn to complain for a second. Secret layers. I got to the shop last Monday, hopped onto the secret layer website because the Final Fantasy secret layers were coming out.
Right.
You know,
they were hot ticket items.
Yes. The shop wanted to get them. I wanted to be able to sell them to customers. I wanted to be able to buy one. So guess my surprise when at 12 o'clock on the dot, when they go on sale, I grab the English bundle because it comes with it comes with the full English ones in foil and non-foil. Put like 3 or 4 of those in the cart so that we'll have them to sell here. And I click checkout. And it throws me in queue. I was expecting queue. You know,
right.
We dealt
From
with it
now
with
on,
Marvel.
we've been dealing with queues like every secret layer.
We dealt with it with Marvel. And that was probably the worst one up to this point was Marvel.
Yeah.
I jump in queue. It says over an hour wait. Okay. You know, that's how it was with Marvel. It was about an hour wait. Sure. I'm sitting there. 30, 45 minutes go by. I go, let me check back again. Now it says delays in checkout. Please do not close this window. We are having server issues. Please just leave it as is.
Just
we
leave
will
it alone.
update you. We will update you when we know more. Cool. Leave it be. Wait another like 20, 30 minutes. Check back. Estimated queue times right now are over 2 hours. Cool. Guess we're sitting. Let it go for another, 30, 45 minutes. Look again. Attention. All Final Fantasy English bundles sold out. Final Fantasy Japanese bundles sold out. Everything Final Fantasy.
Are you kidding?
Gone. Sat in line over 2 hours at that point to get nothing. I jumped in line at that exact moment. And this is where it just drives me up a wall, you know. I try not to be negative. You know, I feel like I try to be the glass half full to your glass half empty.
I was gonna say you're the comedy to my tragedy.
Yes, but I'm really just hitting a fever point specifically with Secret Layer because it's so ridiculous now that I go look on TCG Player as someone who wanted the cards to play and to collect because I have spoken. I am a diehard Final Fantasy
fan.
You know, I've been playing the MMO for over 5 years.
He's got a life-size picture of Ishtola on his wall.
That's not true. I don't like Ishtola. Cringe. I grew up with 7, grew up with 6, played 10, okay. Played Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts also helped grow that love. And I get to see these cards going for astronomical prices.
Oh, yeah.
A copy of Damn should never in a million years be $87
No.
because it has Noctis on it.
No, 100%.
That is ridiculous. It is downright criminal, in my opinion.
How much do you think that a lot of that was because people hacked the system again, like they did with the Marvel, where they basically found a loophole to let them skip the line?
I genuinely don't know. Apparently, and this is what I read, the way that the queue system was set up was not whoever clicked checkout first was first in line. No, because everyone basically clicked at the same time, or a bunch of people clicked at the same time.
Right.
It was random.
Random.
There were people who were jumping in an hour late. They literally clicked checkout, took them right to the screen, checked out their stuff, bought and went.
Wow.
So what is
Wizards,
the point?
What are you doing?
And
seriously. And I mean, this is on my personal opinion, not an opinion of the store, not opinion of Deep Dive Games LLC. This is me. What are you doing? Seriously, at least when it was print on demand, you knew how much product you needed to make, and sure, we had to wait 3, 4, 5 months for the product to come out.
I would rather do that.
I would rather do that because then at least I could be guaranteed to get what I want. Then you could at least be guaranteed to get the amount of money that you Wizards want to put in your pocket. You would have so much more money right now if you had just done the print on demand.
And you know, and I saw a lot of talk about it online because that's something that comes up. But obviously, Wizards and Hasbro more specifically needs them to be able to show, hey, look, when they go do their next Universes Beyond and their
Right.
next collabs and whatever. We sold out of this in an hour, or they'll probably cut it to like, once you account for queue times, we sold out in 30 seconds. We sold out in a minute, whatever. So what they should do is they have an initial wave. That is we have printed X amount.
Yeah.
We've printed, 100,000 units.
Which
Once
is not
those
enough.
go, it's never enough. No, there will never be enough of especially of something like that. Like there was never enough of Marvel. There was never enough of Hatsune Miku even, which one lasted a little bit longer because it had the JP.
Right.
Which JP didn't last very long for Final Fantasy.
Nope.
But it's same. Yeah, Marvel, Final Fantasy now. Hatsune Miku. What was another one that was collab that sold out very quickly? I'm trying to remember.
SpongeBob went pretty quick.
SpongeBob
People
went
because people
fast.
wanted that counterspell.
Yes. And then also to a lesser extent the Deadpool, but that was a shadow drop, so it at least lasted a lot
It lasted a
longer.
little bit longer, but
And it
as
was
soon as people
limited.
saw it.
It was super limited. They limited it to 2 per customer.
Yeah.
Which I thought, is this what they're going to do then? Is do a
That
limit
would have
of-
been smarter.
Yeah,
That would have been
just limit
smarter
it.
because hey, if you could only buy 2 of each, you're not going to have
It
these
stopped
scalpers.
It stopped scalpers a lot.
Right. You're not going to have these scalpers that are going to get on there and buy hundreds of these bundles or put into queue hundreds of the bundles and
Because what
then
they're doing
end up
is-
buying like 30 of them.
Because and this is where some of my cybersecurity knowledge comes into effect in like a lot of my like IT stuff.
Yeah.
So the way that a lot of them work is they set up these bot networks and they're all on separate internets.
Yep.
So the IP addresses are different.
They have like VPNs.
Yes,
and
they're all on VPNs,
yeah.
or they're using mobile hotspots and stuff like that.
Right.
They get creative.
They have different IPs,
Yes.
so it looks like they're different computers.
and they're all putting in the max amount, which was 5. You could get 5 of anything.
Mhm.
Was the max. So they're putting in for that. And so even if only then you have 500 instances running, only 50 of them get through.
Mhm.
Hey, 50 times 5, that's 250
Yeah,
copies of this
250
going
copies
to
that
a
you can
single person.
then you can sell them for exorbitant prices
Mhm.
and make your money back
Yeah.
easy enough because there are people that even at the extortionary prices they will still pay that money
Yes.
because they want the fancy shiny.
And that's the issue for me, is because there's plenty of cards that I want to buy, not because they're good cards,
No.
but because it's cool art.
Oh, 100%. Like
I don't care about the is always GT with Clouds Buster Sword.
Right,
I don't
right.
care about that. I am much more interested in Gaia with the Colossus Hammer because that's FF14 representation of a character who, if you don't do a specific raid, you don't even know if she exists.
right.
I think that's really cool. And that Colossus Hammer right now, which I'd have to check it, last I saw was going for like $60 for an uncommon
For a Colossus Hammer just because it has a special picture on
because
it.
it has special art. That's
can only-
$60 for the non-foil.
For the not I was about to say that and then the foil is probably double that.
Probably close to probably 80. How the foil multiplier is not what it used to be.
No, it's true.
But it's just deeply frustrating because we literally had a system that worked,
Mhm.
and again we had to wait. That's fine.
Sure.
I don't mind waiting.
Yeah, I remember like when the Mark Poole,
Mhm.
the guest
That one
artist
came
Mark
out.
Poole came out, and I bought it, and then I waited, and I
Mhm.
waited, and I waited, and it finally showed up in the
Yeah.
mail after I had forgot that I had ordered
Yep.
it, and it was such a
It was like a second surprise.
Oh yeah, no, it was the dopamine hit that you get off
Yeah.
of something like that, where you're like, ooh, I get to open up a secret layer, and
Yep.
what's the bonus card? Oh, that's cool,
Because like for me, the very first secret layer I ever bought was the Artist Series Seb McKinnon.
Mhm.
Actually, I didn't even buy it myself. My buddy bought it for me for my birthday, because that one came out in like April of
Yeah.
that year, and my birthday's in September. It showed up like a week or 2 after my birthday. He gave it to me.
Mhm.
It was super awesome to be able to go through it. I still play some of those cards. That's why I have a copy of Damnation,
Mhm.
is because of that secret layer. And I am more than happy with that.
Right.
I think that it's and again, going back to what I was talking about before. So first print run, have 100,000 copies just ready to go. Beyond that, once those sell out, you mark it as sold out for a minute, and then like a week or 2 later, second print run, print to demand,
Sure.
and then that runs for a week.
Sure.
And then so that way the people who got in the first wave, they get their cards immediately.
Right.
They
they
they're
get their
getting
cards
stuff, like,
immediately
on
and
the
then,
jump.
And that's
then
and that's
everyone
the
else-
benefit for going on and waiting
Yeah.
in the queues and whatnot is you get your cards immediately.
Yeah, and the people who got in late, they're now going to have to wait a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still going to get
they're
the
still going to
cards.
get their product.
And it actually does better because that way, when scalpers try to sell the cards off of first wave, it turns into a thing of it's less. This is the only way I can get the cards. Is am I patient enough to wait for the rest of them to hit the market?
Right, and you're still going to get those whales that will still pay the exorbitant prices just so they can get their stuff faster, sooner. Hi, Rachel.
I was like, give me 1 second. I have something for her.
Oh, you're good. We're just chatting with our lovely audience of one. Yeah. It's all good. Braden's probably just going to edit this out. But I mean, yeah. So from what I've been reading, from what I've been seeing on YouTube and things like that, other content creators that are out there talking about it, there's a pretty galvanized community right now about whether or not these cards should continue to be standard legal and that kind of thing. The fact that they're changing the meta up so heavily, and then I mean just keeping on with the main topic that we were just talking about, with the secret layers and whatnot. I've always seen secret layers as a great way to get your hands on cards that you may not be able to get a hold of at a reasonable price, especially as somebody who played Commander for so long, these eternal formats for so long, where I didn't have a Carpet of Flowers for the longest of time because it was just not cost effective for me to go out and buy one. I think when I eventually did end up picking up a Carpet of Flowers, I ended up spending like $45 for it. And then 2 months later, the Secret Lair comes out with the reprint in it, and I could have spent $40 and gotten 4 cards and 5 cards with the bonus card, So it's a lot of. I'm okay with Secret Lairs that reprint cards that either haven't had a reprint or have never had a foil printing. I'm fine with that. Make those cards more accessible. Make those things. I mean, honestly, I'm one of those weird people that, and I wouldn't even call myself weird, although I am weird. Yeah. Anyway, I'm one of the camp that says they should abolish the reserve list. I've always felt that way. That if you have eternal formats that use cards from every single set of Magic, that have access to using cards that aren't banned from every set of Magic, like, you need to make those cards accessible. If those cards are the most efficient or the most powerful versions of whatever, cards that you can get in a deck, they need to be made available. And I can honestly say that single reprints, even second reprints of cards, don't really hurt the value of the originals in the long run. Sure, in the short term, the value drops. Granted. We saw it with the 30th anniversary that came out. Cards that were completely illegal to use in any format, right? Any tournament level format, but they reprinted the dual lands, they reprinted Moxes, and they reprinted the Black Lotus and whatnot, So the fact that they reprinted them had people selling their originals for pennies on the dollar. Literally, when that set came out, they were $1,000 for 4 packs of cards. And it wasn't like you were getting 30 cards a pack. You got your standard, like, 15 cards in that pack. So it literally tanked the price on most of the dual lands. Like, you could have gotten a friggin' I think the cheapest one was like a Plateau. I saw somebody selling it for like $80. Just an old, beat up, damaged copy of Plateau for like $80. But as soon as they they weren't going to reprint those. As soon as the hype died down and those packs of cards and those cards weren't really that accessible anymore, the price climbed right back up. So I think it's a lot. I'm not trying to be insulting to anybody who's in the other camp, the whole like let's keep the reserve list, whatever. But I feel like a lot of the worry about it is just pearl clutching because having access to a Gaia's Cradle does not hurt your Gaia's Cradle value. Especially when, the gold bordered world championship version of the card still goes for like $300. So, um, I don't see where reprints are a bad thing. I don't see where, keeping this list of cards that they'll never reprint again. And I feel like Secret Layers were a great way for them to do that. They could release, like, from the reserve legendary, legendary collection or something, just some special Whammadine thing. They only have it access for a little bit, and then bing, bang, boom, it goes away.
Yeah, I was only half listening to what you were saying because I was dealing with a customer. But reprints are always a good thing. They're never a bad thing. Right. Anyone who ever says that they are a bad thing is an investor and is not involved in the game for a wholehearted purpose.
Sure. And again, like I said, I'm not. There's no hate for anybody who's like that.
Because I understand people. I know people who like to actually genuinely collect sealed product. Right. That might be something that they like to do. And when everything gets reprinted, it hurts their sealed product collection, which at the end of the day, if you're just truly collecting, the value of it shouldn't matter. It's about the love of collecting.
It's the love of collecting. But at the same time, knowing the monetary value of your collection is something nice. It is something important. I mean, I could sit here and collect bottle caps, and I could spend my entire life collecting bottle caps just because I like bottle caps, but they're not worth really anything,
And I can understand when people say, like, you want the monetary value of your collection to match the emotional value that you get.
Sure.
Because that way, at least, it can be protected.
But like I was saying, I don't think reprinting these super valuable cards, these super rare cards, are really going to hurt the value of the originals in the long run.
No, not at all. Because people will always want to collect the original printing.
Right. I mean, I'm one of them. Like when I was buying cards when I played in played Commander, I preferred to build my deck with the originals versus like a bunch of the reprints and whatnot. I opted to use my original copy of Sylvan Library versus the new reprintings that they put out there. And that's another one. That's like all of these cards out there that are on the reserve list that, like a Mox Diamond. Is it really going to hurt your bottom line if you reprint Mox Diamond? An original printing of Mox Diamond before it went on the reserve list,
I think
goes for like what, $400, $500?
$600.
Is it $600? Okay, so about $600. The foil reprint from the Vault's relics
is like $900.
Is like $900
because it's the only way to get a foil.
Right. So you could take these older cards and reprint them with the foiling. And it's not going to hurt the price of the originals.
That one will go up more.
That one is going to end up being more expensive.
Yeah. And if you again, you do the reprints very sparingly if you're super worried about it, because it'll do exactly what like cards like Craterhoof do. Craterhoof has been reprinted now like 7 times. Yeah. That card has a ton of printings. What it does every time the card gets reprinted is the price will dip down for about 3 months.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best time to buy a Craterhoof Behemoth, by the way. If you see reprints, wait for the set to come out. Buy it like 2 weeks after the set. You'll get one for like $15, and then watch the price because it will be $15, and then about 3-4 months after that.
Yeah, the originals will be like that because the new everybody wants the new fancy, the new shiny.
No, even the brand new fancy one. If you want to buy the brand new fancy, whatever. Not the super shiny, obviously. The super shiny Whammadine, you know. I am someone who sold a Ghost Fire Craterhoof Behemoth for like $200.
Gross.
Made my money on it. One collector pack. We love it. But you buy any copy really for about $15. They'll be anywhere from like 10 to 15, depending on what printing. And then watch about 4 months later, price is gonna creep right back up, and it's gonna be right there again around that $20 to $25 range.
Look at all the fetch lands. Look at the shocks.
The fetches, I think, have finally hit a price point where they should have always been. Most of your fetches are anywhere between like 10 to like, I'd say like $18 on the high end.
Like 10 to 20.
Yeah, 20. I think 20 is like the real, because I think that's like
Polluted Delta. I think is still sitting at 20.
Bloodstain Mire is your most expensive one now. Bloodstains.
You know, that I guess that does make sense. Rakdos is a very, very powerful,
it doesn't
popular card.
see a lot of reprints either.
Right.
The last reprint for those was Khans of Tarkir.
Yep.
Which is now I hate to say this, almost 10-year-old set. Hurts my soul. It is old now.
I mean,
if not actually a 10-year-old set.
No. Bloodstained Mire got a reprint.
MH3.
In one of the modern
MH3.
sets. Yeah, MH3.
MH3. Sorry, yeah, I forgot. Those were all enemy fetches.
Yeah, they had all the enemy fetches in that one because it was
Polluted Delta.
Yeah, because the allied ones got reprinted earlier than that.
Or no, would that be
the allies? I think was
MH2.
MH2
was your allies,
and then MH3 was your enemies.
Yeah, because we saw Bloodstained Mire, Polluted Delta, Marsh Flats, and not Marsh Flats.
Not Polluted Delta. Polluted Delta was 2.
Polluted Delta was in 3.
Was it in 3?
It was in 3. Polluted Delta.
That's not an enemy. Those aren't enemy colors.
It's allied. Those are allied.
Those are allied colors.
Because it was that Wooded Foothills.
So it was the allied colors.
It was all the allied colors in 3, and then 2 was the enemy.
2 was the enemy.
Because 2 we got Scalding Tarn and everything, so that tracks. That tracks. There we go. We figured it out. But yeah, that's how. That's
it's not like we work in a game store or anything.
Dude, I just know cards. I just know the name of the card and I know what it does.
Right.
If you ask me for every single printing, I'm gonna miss one.
Right? No, I can't do the.
Especially with stuff that's been reprinted.
I can't do. Ground. Yeah, I can't do the printings anymore. I used to, but.
Hey man, name every single set a Shockland has ever been printed in, including
anything that
extra
says
sets.
Ravnica.
Anything that says Ravnica.
Anything that says Ravnica, they were printed in there. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, because it is still called Ravnica Clue Edition. There you go. You got there.
Anything that's Ravnica and Unfinity.
Oh yeah, because I could have got you there with Unfinity because they got
Unfinity had the special ones, the special Wampadine fancy ones,
all the Galaxy foils.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so yeah, Final Fantasy is a set. It has been a set. I'll get off my soapbox finally. I got very upset about that. I'm sorry.
No,
I still love you, Wizards. You're still. I know deep down somewhere in there. It's, you know what? Let's use an analogy for a second. Final Fantasy IV. Protagonist. Cecil Harvey. Dark Knight. His entire story is about going from being a Dark Knight to rediscovering the good in him, the light in himself, to become a paladin, a redeemed paladin again. Wizards, you are in your Cecil arc right now. You are Cecil right now. Please. Go! You are Dark Knight, Cecil.
Stop being Dark Knight.
Please be a paladin. You can do it. I remember the good days. We remember the good days. We may disagree on what the good days are.
Before Hasbro.
Before, yeah. I mean, even then, initially, it wasn't that bad. Initially, it was just like,
look, Daddy Hasbro has been trying to beat gold bricks out of Wizards for a while now.
Well, it's because it's the only profitable thing.
Right.
Wizards is the only thing that consistently... Who would have guessed? No one wants to buy Monopoly anymore. I'm sorry. Everyone has their copy.
Transformers is still really popular.
Yeah, Transformers is. G.I. Joe's is
not anymore.
I think we're at about a time period where they could bring back G.I. Joe. They tried. But that was like a Michael Bay type movie. I think they could try now.
So were the Transformer movies.
Yeah, but those were like good Michael Bay because it made sense for Michael Bay.
Robot testicles.
That was like 2, I think, or 3. Hey, did you know that Michael Bay was working on a Skibbity Toilet movie?
Oh my god.
Or he was working on Skibbity Toilet. Allegedly.
I have no faith for this upcoming generation.
We're getting old. We're out of touch.
I will be that man standing on his porch yelling at clouds.
You're saying that like you aren't already.
I'm pretty tame. Hello, Anna.
Hi.
Your husband was in earlier. We forgot something. He's still here. Okay. He's supposed to be at work like 6 minutes ago.
What did he forget? Oh, classic.
His badge?
Yeah, not his like military badge.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, kind of hard to get on base without that.
Yeah, the other one to get to the other
Mm. Do you like leave it here?
How long are we?
No, I left it in my car.
Have we already killed an hour?
Okay. Yeah. No,
I
we've
feel like
been
we
at it
barely
for
talked
an
about
hour.
anything. We've killed an hour.
I mean, I started at like 10 minutes before you sat down, so.
I mean, fair, but it wasn't even 10 minutes. You were literally still reading your intro and I sat down.
I started the recording earlier.
Oh.
So there's a big like
There's a
section
big
in
like
front
gap
of,
of just dead air.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just me sitting here in front of the camera.
That's called dead air.
Hey, this is a moneymaker right here, okay? I get a total of like 3 views every video. It's crazy.
It's crazy. You alone.
Mm-hmm. It's just all me.
All 3 of them.
All this one right here. You know, me, my mom, my daughter.
Is your mom just you in a way?
No. Though I do look a lot like my mother. People say I look like my dad, but when me and my mom are next to each other, we look very similar. I don't really look a lot like my dad. It's mostly the hair.
The gingerness.
The gingerness. Although his hair is turning white.
As gingers do.
Well, he's not a full ginger.
He's a daywalker. Little Minty popping off in the chat.
I know
Little
who
Minty?
it is.
Who is it? You can whisper it in my ear. Right next to the microphone.
Uh-huh. She knows who she is.
Okay. You know what? You saying that has told me who it is. Gave it away.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Anyway.
Anyways, to give some quick announcements then, because we normally shoot for what, like hour and some change on one of these?
Yeah.
So,
About an hour and a half.
Yeah. An announcement that I feel comfortable making.
Mm.
Legends of the Force pre-orders now open.
So excited!
There'll be a Facebook post
Soon.
eventually. TM.
I'm gonna so far my plan is, because moving, not a lot of money.
Only
Only
4
monies.
carbonite boosters.
Yeah, only 4 this time, not the 12 that I bought.
Yeah.
Not
We're
including
getting
the
12,
one.
by the way.
No, I'm only gonna do one,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna do one
Regular.
regular boosters, and then 1 copy of each of the decks, because now you can get the starter deck only cards in
packs.
the regular packs. So
Only took 5 sets.
honestly, I'm okay with it. I am okay with Fantasy Flight Games and how they're doing it.
They're at least.
I like the fact that the Carbonite packs is what we call collector boosters. Carbonite boxes and Carbonite packs are a limited print run. They only do 1 print run of them.
Yep.
And once they're gone, they're gone. So it means the collector,
Excuse me.
this guy,
Yeah.
has a better chance of getting the fancy cards. And I feel like it also brings down the price on a lot of the fancy cards, like hyperspaces.
Yes.
Hyperspaces have definitely come down in price, which is
Yes.
good.
Which is fine. Yeah.
Hyperspace foils are coming down in price a
Yeah.
lot. The only thing that really kind of goes up is
The special-
Prestiges.
The prestigious. The show.
Right.
Like the prestige is the name for a showcase of a non-leader.
effectively,
unit.
yeah.
I know that they talked about with this set, they are printing less carbonites.
Yep.
Because they didn't like the amount of carbonites that were out for JTL. They didn't like how it affected the secondary market.
Yep.
They didn't like how it was
And
impacting the sales of standard.
I respect that.
Yes.
I respect that, because people mostly only wanted to buy Carbonites
Mhm.
because they want the fancy printings. I honestly, FFG, take another step forward with it. Make the prestiges show up in your regular play boosters and just make it
Super hard to pull.
rare. Like, make it a mythic level, like Magic, using Magic terminology. Make it like a mythic level pull.
I'd say
You get
even
maybe 3 per box.
old mythic.
Old mythic pulls. Like, you
Yeah.
might get 3 per box, right?
Because I remember back in like OG Concepts Harkier, you knew a box was dead after you pulled 2 mythics normally.
Yep.
2 mythics, your box was dead.
Yep.
You weren't getting anything else super. You were 1 foil
But
rare.
that was back when rares were more valuable.
Yes, you got 1 foil rare or mythic, 2 mythics.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, take the next step. Go ahead and put prestiges in your regular play boosters. Just make them, because it's guaranteed 1 per pack in Carbonites, versus you might get 3 per box.
Yeah.
Do that. Make
Yeah.
it so that you can get. I mean, you already do the same thing basically with showcases. They've made the showcase pull rate a lot better in the standard boxes,
Yes.
regular boxes. In Carbonites, it's one per 2 boxes,
Mhm.
and you're spending. I mean, they come out at about $300 a box.
Right about, yeah.
So you're spending about $600 to almost be guaranteed to pull one showcase.
When the showcases are now actually going down in value because they're being pulled.
They're being more readily available, and I think that's a good thing. I think that these cards shouldn't be $400, $500.
I think the top end reasonably for a piece of cardboard, or sorry, card stock, really, for a card game, your top end value should be about $100.
Sure.
I think realistically.
I agree.
With cards, I think $100 should be like your top end.
Get a fancy Whammadine version of the leader, an alternate art, full art, foil, all the jazz, all the specialness that you get with showcases. And I mean, they could spend a little bit more money on hiring better artists to do better art for those, but like, I mean, the Han Solo showcase from set 1, chef's kiss, amazing.
I like the showcase arts a lot. There are some that I'm very like, whatever about.
The Luke from the last set was kind of it was a little derpy.
I really liked the set 3 Grievous. Looked great.
Oh yeah,
that was probably my favorite one. That's probably my favorite one. Period. So far. I'm really curious to see what the set 5 ones look like.
Mando looked really good.
Mando did look good.
Mando looked really good, and I actually just recently picked up Gideon, Moff Gideon.
Nice. So, I'm very curious about the set 5 ones. I'm sure they've already released the arts.
If they have, I haven't seen them.
That's fair, because I don't look at spoilers normally for Star Wars. So I don't follow it that closely. I enjoy being pleasantly surprised when the set comes out.
I don't think they do release the showcase arts.
They wait.
They wait until they're actually the set's released.
What I will say, one thing I'm very excited about, and this is probably gonna, I'm ready for you to roll your eyes at this. It's fine. Believe it or not,
let me get ready.
It's not gonna be the Gundam TCG. It's something people hate even more. The League of Legends TCG.
Oh.
The Riftborn.
Honestly,
or Riftbound.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind looking at it.
It looks really cool, and they are talking about, because it's already come out in China.
Yeah.
Because go figure, Tencent owns League.
Yeah, I was gonna say Riot Games is owned by Tencent now.
So it came out
it
very
does
recently.
Tons of damage.
Summer of this year. So right where the current season we're in.
Sure.
That is released there. The cards look gorgeous. They redesigned the UI on them completely because there were complaints with the beta test that they looked a little too cheap, I guess, or that the flow of the cards wasn't good. So they took that into account, redesigned completely what the face of the cards looked like, and invested in a better card stock. So now
is it going to be thick like
I'm not sure. I haven't gotten my hands on any. They look sturdy. They look a lot more sturdy.
Are we going to actually get any of those?
I have us slated to get set 1 right now.
Okay, cool.
I have us for about, I think, total between all of our distributors, like 22-ish boxes and a bunch of starter decks.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Waiting. Yep.
No, I had a bubble. That's the thing. I'm interested in at least trying a lot of the games that are coming out. Like the Gundam game, I'm pretty excited for.
It's looking really cool.
Just to try. I haven't even seen the gameplay of it yet.
It's on YouTube now.
I should look it up, honestly.
It plays a lot closer to Magic, actually.
I would honestly rather us get demo decks in and physically put my hands on it and learn how to play the game.
There are starter decks coming out, and they're gonna.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna get the Death Scythe starter deck.
Yeah, I'll pick up probably the Char one or the.
If I don't get the Death Scythe one, I'm getting Char.
Yeah,
just because Char was my second favorite character.
So that's coming out. I'm really.
Or Char, however you want to fucking say
it's
it.
Char. Char Aznabel. Gundam nerd here. But so anyways, but I'm really tempted because of how popular the Final Fantasy Magic set has been. I'm really tempted to pick up just a tiny bit of the Final Fantasy TCG because
and see if it actually
how it does.
Tracks.
I'm really interested in the new set that's coming out.
Hey,
for that.
You heard it here.
Discovery.
If you guys are interested in that,
say something, please.
Say something. Put something in the comments.
I need something. There were a ton of people a couple of years ago who were down.
Yeah,
and just for reasons,
because it's popular. It's popular in a few spots down in Jax.
Yes, it is very popular. It's popular in Atlanta. It's popular in the Northeast, but I think everything's in the Midwest. It's super popular. But you print a card that isn't a playing card, it's popular in the Midwest.
Fair.
Hell, you print a playing card, it's popular in the Midwest. It's almost like it's the card game.
Put it down in the comments. Let us know what you're interested in. If you guys, honestly, if you guys out there see a TCG that you guys are interested in that's coming out, or one that's already established that we don't really carry here in the store, send us a message. Drop it down down below the doobly doo. Like,
I believe in.
That's what
I believe in the rule of 3.
Yeah.
So if 3 separate people disconnected from one another come in and go, "Hey, I'm interested in this. I would love to see it carried, and I want to play it. I want to buy it."
Yeah.
Even better if you come in and you're like, "Hey, I bought a starter deck of this somewhere else. Check this out," and I can physically get my hands on it and see it and mess around with it. I am totally down. Next order I place,
because
I will put just a couple of them in.
We have a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
With introducing new games to the store, and the store's basically the store rule, the policy, Braden's policy, is that if 6 or more people come in consistently and ask for it, or we get 6 or more people coming in regularly and playing it in the store, he will look into investing into it. Like I said, we have a little bit of leeway. We have a little bit of leeway. We can spend a little bit of money picking up this, that, or the other just to try it out to see if it does well. And if the first little bit of investment that we put out there doesn't do well, then obviously we know that we just don't carry it.
Cut your losses. You know, we lose as a store. You lose $200, $300 trying out a thing. It's better than if you full send into it. And
I was gonna say we spent $500 on the Terrafite cards, and you laugh. Bye, Anna.
Bye.
We miss you.
Bye.
We invested $500 into like an initial thing for Terrafite. I sat down and played the game.
You love that game.
I didn't love the game, but I did like the game. I thought it was interesting. It was a simple enough game that my daughter could have picked it up and played it. We've played a couple of games. I've still got the cards. I didn't get rid of them. It's just that it was very unpolished. It was definitely
still in its development.
It was very much so still a development game. It was very unpolished. And there were a few people that sat down and enjoyed playing it. And they bought starter decks for it. And then we didn't hear anything else about it. We had it sitting on the shelf behind the counter for months. And it just didn't move. And now we're just out, But that was a $500 investment on a potential game.
And we sold like $100 worth.
Right. We sold like half of what we got in.
Yeah. So
because a lot of it was like the play mats and things like that, the little buttons and things like that. I still have my Terrafite buttons.
They gave me a bunch of stuff just for sitting down and playing.
Yeah.
And Terrafite was one of those games where I saw what they were going for, and it wasn't a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I know they're still working on it, so I don't want to talk like it's dead.
No. We're not saying it's dead at all. Like, if you guys out there in Mathemagic Land ever look it up and find out it, I forget the name of the company off the top of my head. It's like Akiba or something like that.
Something like
their symbol is one of those little dogs.
It's like Akidogo or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Maybe next time I will write down to look it up and see what it is next episode.
Yeah,
but look into it. It's an interesting game. Honestly, the initial kind of thing felt more like a board game.
Yes,
like a living card game rather than just a collectible card game. I think it would be really neat to see it more digitally. I think digital game version
very well digitally.
Oh yeah.
For me personally, one of my only hangups I had when playing it, it has nothing to do with the gameplay. The gameplay itself was fine. I dug the space aesthetic. I was just not huge on the monkey theme thing that they had going on.
Well, yeah, because that was kind of the joke, is that they sent monkeys up into space.
And I totally got that. Like, I was like, cool.
The banana coin.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. You've stuck to the theme. I'm fine with that. It was just, it's the same issue I personally have when I get into games like Lorcana, is I reach a point where, and maybe this is just my personal issue I have to get over, when I sat down and played Lorcana, I would start to feel a little silly when I go, hey, I play my Mickey Mouse, I play Pluto the dog, like, and it's a serious card game. It doesn't detract from what they're trying to do, but for me at a certain point, I start to feel, it makes me as a nerd start to feel a little
it
introspective
feels like,
about what I'm doing.
And this is again a personal thing. It felt, when I played the game, it felt like it wasn't aimed at me.
Correct. It definitely
mechanics wise was interesting.
Mhm.
I I haven't tried it since like the second set came out, so I haven't seen all like the new mechanics and whatnot. But for me, it was a very, very, very simplistic game.
It's gotten a little bit more complex over time. There's actually something vaguely akin to a stack now. It's called the bag in Lorcana. It's getting there. This is a discussion I've had with several other people.
Right.
Lorcana is one of those games where I think they're kind of hitting their crossroads of, are they going to continue down this path of wanting to be a competitive TCG that competes with the likes of Magic the Gathering, One Piece, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Around here, I just don't feel like it does.
Or is it going to go the route of some of Ravensburger's others games, where it becomes more of closer to like a living TCG or more of like a board gamified thing?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of why Disney,
made to be family
the company
friendly.
Disney, went with Ravensburg, because Ravensburg had a lot of the licenses for like
All
those
Disney
characters
stuff.
and whatnot for Disney stuff.
Because they do Villainous.
Because they do Villainous,
which
and
is an
they do-
amazing board game.
Right.
I love Villainous. It is a ton of fun to sit down and play.
Hey, guess what?
Hey, guess what?
I'm gonna leave you alone for a second here because I
You're gonna
need
go to the
to
head.
relieve myself.
Yep, have fun.
So I'll be right back, guys.
So I'll
Just
sit here.
let him sit there and talk
Yeah,
for once.
it's fine. I'm fine with that. I can't wait for a customer to come in and then it's just true dead air.
Then it's just true dead air.
Yeah, that'll be so much fun. But yeah, guys. You're so right, actually, bestie. Yeah, it's just one of those things. This is also extra fun because I get to have to like kind of lean over to look at chat. So if anyone says anything to me, I'm sorry. I'll do my best. But yeah, Lorcana is one of those games. I don't hate Lorcana. Like, Lorcana is fun for what it is. I think as a Disney card game, they knocked it out of the park, because in the hands of a lesser company, it really would have just been, oh, hey, I play Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse does Mickey Mouse things, I guess. And that's that. But they actually went further and pushed the envelope of trying to develop the characters into something a little bit more unique. It wasn't just, oh, hey, remember Mickey Mouse from the Three Musketeers movie? Or, hey, there's Mickey Mouse from Fantasia. Or this is just Mickey Mouse from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or whatever. They were like, hey, here's this concept of Floodborns. Like, we're going to kind of reinvent the character a little bit. We're going to play with it. There's going to be unique items that are exclusive to Lorcana. They really played with it. They didn't just go, yep, Disney, cool. They actually explored the space. They did something with it. They added to it.
Really explore the space.
They did. They explored their space. And so I never want people to think that I just like, I don't hate any card game. Truly, and honest to God, I will rag on a card game. I will rag on Yu-Gi-Oh all day.
Oh, all day.
I love 17.
Do you go first? You do? You win?
You win.
Okay.
I mean,
Hand traps?
Lorcana.
No hand
Lorcana's
traps?
kind of that way.
Yeah.
But I will sit there. I will rag on Yu-Gi-Oh all day. 3 paragraphs of text, 2-point font, to basically tell me, hey, you can't play anything. They use 3 paragraphs to say something that a Magic card says in 2 sentences. But at the end of the day, it is still an interesting game. It still has a lot it can offer. The art can be unique. The character, the creature designs are beyond what Magic would ever be willing to do.
I will say the censorship is kind of funny.
The censorship is weird because 90% of the time nowadays I look at the
doesn't make any
cards.
sense.
I look at the card and I'm like, where's the censorship? And they're like, oh, her skirt is 1 millimeter longer in the English version, or what OFC or whatever they call it now, because there's weird how they differentiate. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, at least back in the day, it made more sense because they removed
like religious iconography,
like the crosses, if there was like a pentagram or a Star of David or whatever.
Right.
Because Japan doesn't care about that stuff.
They got rid of like a lot of
like the like more apparent cleavage or
like what is it, the Twin Elves or whatever.
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, cool, tracking makes sense. Sure for the sake of the card game. And because it's supposed to be marketed towards children with the anime, especially the 4Kids dub. That stuff made sense.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 was definitely not a kid's show.
Yeah, Season 0 never aired in America.
Never once.
Yeah, and it also had a different art style that I really actually like.
Yeah, Kaiba had green hair back
then. Yeah. But then now you look at certain card games like Shadowverse Evolve or Force of Will. Dear Lord. I saw. So we sent some cards off for grading recently, and I won't name who it was.
Won't name names.
We know this person mutually.
You know who you are.
We mutually know this person. They sent off a ton of Shadowverse cards.
Mm.
Dear Lord, I looked at some of those cards and I was like, wow.
How did they get away with this?
Wow.
Wow.
It's the English ones that were worse than the Japanese ones. The ones in JP, it was like, okay. And then the English ones, I'm like, okay. Okay, buddy. I would not feel comfortable if I were in a public setting and these cards
were just on
the table. It's kind of like the rule of thumb I use a lot. Like if I look at like a playmat or something.
It's funny, yeah. It's funny. I was just about to get out of my head. I was literally gonna bring up like playmats and card sleeves because we've been to a couple of big tournaments, and so far there has not been any like issue with people bringing inappropriate playmats or cards and whatnot. There've been a couple that were close.
They're like pushing it.
That are pushing it, but I mean, honestly, I'm kind of glad that FFG kind of relaxed their rules on that a little bit because like I make custom playmats.
Yeah, I know.
And I make custom sleeves for my decks. If I really like a leader, I will literally design. I'll find a picture online and slap it on a playmat. Let's be real here.
That's what a lot of people do.
Same thing with the card sleeves. I will try to make a playmat and card sleeves that match the leader that I'm playing with. Just because I think it's cool. I'm a nerd. I do stuff like that.
I do that for One Piece all the time.
I just recently got an Obi-Wan Kenobi playmat done up. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. In the background, in the foreground, all you see is Vader's arm and his lightsaber holding out, and it's the scene where they're about to duel from the Kenobi show.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, it's so good.
I still have not watched it, but I'll get around to it in like.
I'll be honest, there were parts of the show that I wasn't a big fan of, but at the same time, overall, it was a good show.
Yeah. Anyways, now it's your turn.
Oh, now it's my turn because young Mr. Braden decided to come in.
Yeah.
Are you still playing Star Wars or not? Because you still have a bunch of my cards in that deck.
We need to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not playing Subi, I can tell you that.
Well, then just take it apart and give me back my cards.
Do you remember what cards I owe you?
It was one dark saber because you pulled two of them.
Yeah.
One dark saber. I believe it was one wrecker and one Podameron.
I swear my foes are lying. I don't remember.
I had 3 Podamerons only, and you have one of them because I have the other 2.
Okay, next time I have like time to sit down and do your rules,
It's all good. We still got time. I told you I started the recording early, so we've been streaming for an hour and 27 minutes, but we've only been recording for an hour and 18. Because I started the stream before we actually sat down to start doing it, like a good 10 minutes before. On another note, we do have a pretty big announcement. I don't know how much of an announcement this would be, and if it's not what you want to announce just yet, go ahead and edit this out if you want, Braden. But we are moving ahead with our 5K weekend. We're splitting it up on the 9th and the 10th, the weekend of the 9th and the 10th of August. We're going to be setting up stuff on Melee and whatnot. We're doing a Premier tournament, and we're going to be doing a Teams tournament. Now, if you've never played Teams in the tournament for Star Wars Unlimited, it's basically 3-man teams. We're going to be limiting it to 20 teams only. So that's still 60 people. And effectively, it's kind of like a draft. The team basically builds their decks. You cannot run the same exact leader. So you can still have like 3 Hans. It just would be set 1 Han, set 4 Han, set 2 Han, you know. But basically, it's 3 different leaders. You build your decks. You can run the same cards in the deck. And then you have a designated team captain. We'll do a coin toss to determine who gets to take first pick, and then you get to set up your initial match, right? So if one of your team members, say I'm the team captain, my team member is running a heavy aggro deck, and I know they're really good into the late game control decks. Then I'm going to go, okay, cool. I got first pick. My aggro player is going to go up against your control deck. Then the opposing team captain gets to pick the remaining 2 matches. And you basically still do best of 3. And then your team is a best of 3. You have to win at least 2 of the 3 matches. And then you move on to the next tier. At the end of it, the winning team basically gets to walk away with prize money. We plan on doing a bunch of like additives and whatnot, but I can just basically read off a lot of what we've been talking about in Messenger. Our local Star Wars team. But essentially, it's the team tournament is supposed to be about 20 teams. We're doing 3 players per team, and we're feeling $100 per team buy-in, right? So it's about $33.50 per person. Prizes are going to probably go to the top 5 teams. And then we're also going to be doing a premier tournament. It's going to be a 7-round tournament. Buy-in is about $40 per entry, which is standard for a lot of your bigger tournaments. We're expecting up to 96 people. 7 rounds of Swiss. We're going to do your standard 50-minute rounds. Cut to top 8. Top 8 is going to have 3 rounds with no time limit. And then we're going to be doing cash prizes and custom event prizes that you can walk away with. Play mats, initiative tokens, things like that. We are going to be requiring deck lists. So if you guys want to get in on this, we're going to have it all up on Melee. You can register your deck lists on Melee and submit them. I would also, just personally, I would recommend bringing in a paper copy of your deck list because we will be doing deck checks. If, for whatever reason, you sign up and you buy your ticket, you buy your spot and whatnot, and you can't make it, there will be refunds available, but as far as we've discussed, you got to have it done early. Like, we're aiming for like 7 days prior to the event because we've got a lot of setup that we're doing, and this will be kind of the first major kind of thing that we're putting on. We're expecting a good turnout. We've heard a lot of chatter. I've heard a lot of chatter on the Discord server. I'm part of the Star Wars Unlimited judges Discord. I know we have a couple of our local guys that are part of just some other Discords and whatnot. We're aiming for, a good weekend. And like I said, it's going to be August 9th and 10th. That's the weekend that we're aiming for.
There'll be an official Facebook post.
Yeah. We're going to have everything officially released. I just wanted to kind of give it a little spoiler, little teaser, little enticement, That was kind of weird. I shouldn't have done that.
That was canceled.
Don't judge me.
Canceled.
But yeah, so honestly, look forward to it. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on all of our social medias. We got Instagram. We got TikTok. We've got Twitter, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I don't mess with it anymore.
You can find it all in the doobly-doo.
It'll be somewhere down there, yeah. If there's a social media platform that exists, we're probably on it.
I don't think we got Threads yet.
No, I thought we did.
Do we have Threads?
We might have Threads.
Hey, maybe look us up on Threads. Deep Dive Games LLC.
What's that one Chinese one that people went to for a while?
Oh, Redbox.
Redbox? That's not it. It's like Red Note.
Red Note. You're right. Red Note
is a different type of website.
No, Redbox is the freaking movie.
Redbox
rental.
is the movie thing.
What are you thinking? You're thinking.
I don't know.
You're thinking of a
different one.
A different one.
I just heard read something and it wasn't.
See where your mind goes.
It was read something and it was not.
Boy. Saucy.
Oh. But yeah, no. We're excited for it. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm personally going to be using this as the my first-hand study for how like a large Warhammer event might go, because it'll be the most people I think we've ever had crammed into the store for a singular purpose.
Capacity-wise, we have the capacity for it. We just need to get the tables.
Yeah,
and he's working. Our owner is working on getting us more tables and table space and whatnot. I honestly told him we should just use these plastic ones, but
What
I mean,
for-
that's what most of these big
Yeah.
stores do
They just
when they
use
have these
plastic
big events. They
tables.
just use plastic tables.
Yeah, but we want to be a little bit nicer. We want to
No,
we're a
granted.
cut above.
Granted. I know we're
Um,
talking about getting a few more wargaming tables.
Yeah,
and-
he and I were talking about that today actually.
Hmm.
Building them right now. We're estimating we'll probably build 5 or 6 more.
That would be good because
Yeah.
then you could solidly run our Warhammer. We do Warhammer tournaments if you're unaware.
Last Sunday of every
Last
month.
Sunday of every month. So the next
could
one coming up
change.
is
The next one coming up, I believe it's the 29th, if I'm not
Are
mistaken.
we sold out?
No, there are still plenty of slots open. So if you haven't
There you
joined,
go.
do it now.
Yeah. If you haven't joined, go on
Yeah,
to Best
hop in.
Coast Pairings.
BCP.
Look up Deep Dive Games.
Yes.
And you can find us right
Hop in.
there and slot yourself in
Yes.
because those spots sell out.
Very quickly.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous how quickly it goes, and then we have a waiting list
Yes.
because inevitably we have like 1 or 2 people that end up dropping.
That
'cause they just
drop
can't
or
make it.
something comes up, whatever it
Yeah.
is. This month it's been a little slow with joins, but I think that's also because a lot of our guys went to
That's true.
Valdosta,
That's true.
which I would love to potentially get one of them on next week.
Oh yeah, 100%. We
Uh,
can set something up.
Even
like
if
that.
I'm not here the full time, because I've been in and out recently.
Yeah, I mean, let's face facts. Like originally the idea was have you jump in and help out and whatnot. But I understand, with the whole like
Yeah.
running the store, you work on Mondays.
Yes.
We have Bunny,
Yes.
and Bunny has been
you know,
inconsistent recently, but that's
Yeah,
she's sick. You
it
can't help
happens.
it.
You can't
I
help
got
it.
sick. I
Yeah.
still showed up with my sounding like crap that
I
one
know
week.
that was a fun week.
Ended up losing my voice again after that. It was ridiculous.
Who would have guessed talking for an hour and a half straight?
I know.
Kills your voice again.
But yeah, no, she was a little under the weather today. So send out your love to Bunny. We miss her. She'll be back soon. But honestly, I mean, rotating guests
It's
come
fine.
down.
It'll be cool. I could definitely probably get a.
Who's our that's something else I want to mention.
Yes.
With the Warhammer. So if any of you all are not aware of it, we are doing teams for our
Yes.
various different games. Our Star Wars team, I've talked about the Star Wars team
Yes.
already. We got our jerseys in.
Yes.
They look amazing and they're really comfortable. Like
Yes,
super
and what I'm
comfortable.
super excited for is we just put in our orders for the Warhammer team.
I was just about to get
Yep,
to that.
to the
Is
Warhammer,
that
yep.
we have an official Warhammer team now.
We have some really, really, really good people on the
Oh
team.
yeah,
I'm
solid
so excited.
guys. Solid
Uh,
guys.
I don't want to spoil it too much because we did get a last minute person
Oh,
who is
you know who you are.
who is probably one of our best players in the area. It was a lot of talking,
A lot of
a
negotiating.
lot of negotiating,
Yeah.
because he had some ties to.
I was
older
gonna say he was
groups,
affiliated in another group.
but there was a lot of he made sure everything was good. Everything's chill. There's no bad blood. We didn't snipe
poach
someone.
him.
Yeah, we didn't poach him.
Yeah.
Everything's all good, and we're really excited. So keep an eye
I
out.
gotta
You'll see
ask-
some deep dive jerseys.
Have they decided on a team captain yet?
Yes.
Okay. And is it
it's
that
Logan.
person?
Nope,
Okay.
it's Tyler Logan.
Oh, is it
actually.
Logan? Hey,
Yes.
McLovin. Good for you.
Good for you, bud. That
I
one
think
of
he would be the one that we should get on.
That's
to
what
talk
I was
about it.
thinking.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
could probably grab him.
Yeah. So if you see this, hit
I'll
me
probably
up.
have to shoot him.
I'll bump you. If I bumped into him in the hallway earlier
That's
today.
fair. Yeah, talk to
We
him.
we work in the same spot.
Yeah. Because there's him. There's several other. Basically, everyone but the new person
Mm-hmm.
went to Valdosta.
Hey,
So
and pretty soon they'll have jerseys and they'll
Yep.
be able to rock and represent the store.
And
which
there
I think will be
is-
really cool.
there's another GT in Orlando that
Mhm.
a couple of them are going to in about like 2-3 weeks.
I can understand why that's like slowing up the entries because those are like our regular guys.
Yeah.
I would like to see more travelers come.
Yes.
But I think we would have to start doing sidetrack.
Yeah.
I think that if this Star Wars tournament fires off and does well,
Mhm.
I think that opens the door
to a GT for us.
for other bigger tournaments for other games.
I have already gotten the go ahead to start the preliminary lookups for other games.
Nice.
So
See, I'm not as privy to the background stuff anymore,
yeah,
but
these are all literally conversations had today, so nothing set in stone.
yeah, of course.
This is just me talking and trying to build up the hype itself.
Mhm.
but that's something that we're looking into. We want to host bigger events. We have the space to host big things.
Right, that's the thing. I think we have about as much space as some of the stores that we've been to
that have hosted
that have hosted PQs.
Yeah, like we could host a PQ here, genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
We could host a PQ.
I mean, we'd have to do a little bit of rearranging for some of the furniture,
but you do what you got to do.
Right.
You make it work.
We could put all of this furniture in the back room.
Yeah.
And just open this whole space up for tables. And
we have a trailer we can stick stuff in. We have all sorts of. We have a storage unit. Like we can make it work.
The last one we were at was the Collective. No, that was Alamonte.
I thought it was.
That was Coliseum. We were at Coliseum of Games in Kissimmee.
Okay, yeah.
Coliseum of Comics in Kissimmee.
Because they have a bunch of locations.
Yeah, they have a bunch of locations. There's a couple in Jack, or at least one I know of in Jack's.
There's 2 of them.
That one, their store, I think their store was just a hair bit bigger than ours. Just like square footage. But not by much. I think there was about. I think theirs was probably about 4 units wide.
Yep.
And probably
ours is
a little bit further back. Ours is 3 and
3.
Yeah.
It's like 3 and 3, I think. 3 and
no,
4.
it's 3. It's 3 and 1.
3 and 1.
Yeah, because that whole section there used to be a different spot, and then this.
This is
If you've never been into our store, you can tell we have 3 front doors and we have 1 side door. Each one of the doors was its own
a unit
spot.
It
was an own unit at one point. But they knocked the walls down and whatnot and opened the space up. So
which is nice. We like having all this space. It feels good.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, some of the places we've been have been pretty crowded with like stuff.
Yes.
Just kind of like haphazardly. Yeah. We are very organized here. Like everything kind of has a place, and I think that's mostly because of our owner.
Yes, we try to make a big point of that. Don't just have junk.
Yeah. But I think back to my original point, I think that should this 5K weekend fire off without a hitch, which probably is, I think it'll do well. I don't think it'll fire off without a hitch.
Well, there's always a hitch.
This is our first time. There's always a hitch.
This is our first time doing something.
I think that's gonna open the doors for more bigger cash prize tournaments and things. And I think that is inevitably going to be what brings more people in for things like Warhammer, travelers coming.
I think that's what pushes us over that threshold.
I agree.
I feel like we've been kind of sitting for a while, like on this precipice of going
of
over into
basically local,
that next big step as a store. Yeah, and I think that hosting big events, like kind of busting onto the scene of doing that, really putting our names out there.
Yeah, because last week Braden was on and we were talking about it, and he said like, we're gonna try to apply for a PQ. Yeah, we're gonna try and apply again. Like we got denied this last go around because we didn't register
very late in the season.
Right. We didn't register soon enough, and then for set 5 we got denied again because there were too many stores that were applying for a PQ.
Yeah,
and I think that's the issue is that now you've got they've opened it up to a lot, a larger pool of stores, and so like we've been trying for the last I'd say 6 months to get us registered for PQ or at least be available as a PQ because we have to be able to do that to get us as a sponsor store.
Yes.
Which, for any of you who don't know, Fantasy Flight Games basically requires you to be able to handle a large size tournament up to 96 people, which is the average size of a PQ.
Yep.
To become a store that can sponsor judges, which means we can move up in the ranks as judges. So right now, I'm kind of sitting in limbo because we don't have a store locally
that is
large enough or has been approved of that status.
Yes.
To allow me to get registered to be sponsored, and I'd rather be sponsored at my home store.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So to get me the next tier of judge.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm well versed in the rules, and we've already said that I've decided I'm going to step away from the premier tournament, and I'm just going to be the head judge for that.
Yep.
And then I believe Braden and you.
I'm going to be taking.
We're going to be taking the test. We're going to be looking up the rule. Studying the rules, taking the test, so you guys can be my floor judges.
Yes, and kind of go around and.
Yeah. Doing deck checks and things like that.
Yeah.
And then for the team tournament, I did kind of want to participate in that one. But even if I don't, I'm not pressed by it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the game enough that I'm okay to sit back and watch other people play. I like this game. It's a very good, very well played out game. So even if I end up judging the team tournament, I'd like to participate, but we have 8 guys that are regular guys
that are ready to play.
I can step away and let 2 teams of 6. If we can find an additional guy, we'd have 9. We could make 3 teams of 3. But at the end of the day, I would rather see us do really well.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather us do really well and enjoy the tournament for what it is. And honestly, we're coming out of pocket for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's already said, last week he said it, so I can reiterate it here.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we don't get the full 96 people, we're still going to foot the bill for it.
Yeah.
We're still going to put it out there. We're still going to get people coming in.
Yeah.
The prize is not going to change in that note. The more people we get registered,
the better.
The better the prize support gets.
Mm-hmm. So, because he and I cooked up a couple of things that I don't want to talk about just yet.
Sure.
But there's a lot of really cool stuff that we're cooking up as
oh
additional
my gosh,
prize
dude!
support.
Like I've seen we've talked about it. We've talked about it somewhat in the team chat.
Yep. Like there's a lot of stuff that we're really.
Dude,
really
I'm telling you guys, if
about.
you love that game, if you love Star Wars Unlimited, please keep an eye out for our 5K weekend.
Yes.
Because the more people that get on, the more people that register, the more people that sign up, the better the prize support can be.
And even if you're not interested in playing the game yourself, sorry, I didn't mean to cut
you
you
off.
off.
You're good.
Even if you're not interested in the game itself, keep an eye out. We're gonna probably Twitch stream. We're gonna have some Twitch streams going. Some of the stuff.
Oh yeah.
Engage with it as much as possible. Because the better that this one does. Mm-hmm. It opens the door to other large events.
Right.
So if you're waiting on a Warhammer, a Magic, a One Piece,
whatever.
Piece.
I think One Piece would be another good one.
One Piece, it's rough because you have to register for events and everything. But I think that if we can really bubble it, because we're kind of hitting that next jump point for ourselves as a store, because I'm getting about 10 to 12 consistently now for One Piece.
I've been seeing it. You guys have about the same number of people that show up regularly,
and it's
as
growing.
we do with
and
Star
I have
Wars.
a lot of people that are coming in and talking about how they're very interested in playing.
Mm-hmm.
So we may bubble even beyond that now.
I will say this, just to throw that out there. Much like what Braden said about Star Wars, that even if we can't get the official register, we're just going to start doing these cash
events.
prize tournaments. We're just going to start doing it. If this fires off well, and we do well on it, and it's not a big flop, we're going to start doing bigger tournaments. Regardless of whether or not we get official, nom de patre, we're going to start doing bigger tournaments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if Star Wars is in your game, cool. Support the stream. Come and watch it. Throw up some comments, subscribe to our YouTube channel, interact with us on our social medias. Give us something, because your game might be the next one that we're able to run. If this does well, if this gets a lot of traction, if this, hits the numbers that we're hoping to see, the next one could be a One Piece tournament, if that's your game. The one after that could be a Lorcana tournament. I don't know. That's kind of a little iffy right now.
But I'd say
Magic.
Magic always. I mean, RCQs are always a thing.
Right.
I have actually made some headway on getting us an RCQ.
I was wondering.
So that should hopefully be coming down the pipeline. I'll have official dates for that soon.
Yeah. That'll be that. I think that's going to really, really infuse a lot of foot traffic into the store again. Because every single time that we've done one, we've done 2 so far.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of people.
There's been this place was packed.
Yes, RCQs are, and they're a lot of fun to run. Even though we open up early, we kind of keep it trucking.
See, that's another game that I wish that we could get more local support with judges and being able to register one of our employees as a judge. Magic Wizards has made it so complicated to become an official judge now that it's almost nigh impossible.
Mm-hmm.
We have to hire out judges to
Yes.
get people to come in.
Which I have found another judge potentially to use, but again, speculation right now.
Sure.
Official things will be hammered out when Facebook post goes up. Which, actually, I'm ready to go make a Facebook post about Star Wars so other people can go buy it. Besides you,
that's true. I'm first come first serve,
You
right?
are
So I
first
should
come,
just buy
first
the
serve.
whole stock.
Yeah, that's how it works. You know.
All right,
Scalper
guys.
mentality.
Well, that's about all the time we have. We went a little bit longer, but it was kind of to make up for the delay in the beginning, so that's fine.
And we had a short episode last week.
We did have a kind of a short episode last week. It was mostly just firing off what was going on in the store, and then
just kind of
just chatting back and forth.
Then boom.
And then we had a bunch of customers coming in. So glad to have you back. Honestly, being able to bounce stuff off of you again and kind of poke fun at you. Occasionally.
I have to take a break every once in a while because
I can appreciate
the
that.
social battery runs a little low,
Sure.
and stuff behind the counter gets a little hectic. But
I love you guys anyway.
Yeah, it's fun.
I actually enjoy doing this. Sometimes there are days when I wish I could have taken, like today I almost was like, I kind of want to take a break, but I would never do that to you guys without at least announcing something first.
And then look, we had a pretty good episode all in all. So.
We did have a good, I think this was a good episode. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please again, give us a like, a share, a comment.
Smash that like button.
Smash that subscribe button. One thing of note that Braden did want to start kind of mentioning, the Patreon. So if you guys are unaware, or if you are, bear with me. We do a D&D podcast.
Yes.
Well, not a podcast, a D&D show that we put up on YouTube.
Podcast type
Echoes
thing.
from the Deep.
Not of, from.
In. I always said in. Echoes in the Deep, but it's like from the deep.
They're being cast out from the deep.
From the deep. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I've
I
watched
really
a couple
enjoy
of the
watching
episodes. They are great. I love the cast that we've got. They're a bunch of great people. Big fan, Ash. Shout out.
One of my big things is so he always edits them up in the morning.
Yeah.
On Mondays. So when I come in, I normally pop in there
Mm-hmm.
and I'll sit there behind him and watch him while he's editing it all up.
Dude, he's cracking up the whole time.
It's great.
I've
Like,
been
it's
in
a
here
lot
a
of
couple
fun.
of times when he was editing,
Yeah.
and I just keep hearing this barrel laughter
Yeah.
coming from the back room.
We have it's a lot of fun. Like
And we
it's
get a
very
decent
funny.
amount of views on it, honestly.
Yeah, like it's picking up. Like
So anyway, the point is, if you guys enjoy D&D, if you
time.
guys enjoy, go ahead, man. Well, we're finishing up here. If you guys are enjoyers of D&D, or you just want to have a good laugh and watch a bunch of people kind of flounder their way through the game, join us. I believe they go up every Thursday night. Come watch the show. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to the show. The big thing is we have a Patreon. You can find us as Deep Dive Games. Go on the Patreon, and even if you just donate $1 or whatever you can, these guys are great guys and gals. We would love to be able to pay them for their time. The only way we can do that is if it really takes off and we can start kind of monetizing a little bit, and every single cent that we would get monetizing this would go back into the show. It would go back in to pay them for their time. It would go back in for the set dressing and the lighting and stuff like that. But we need your help. We need your help to keep it going. And honestly, even if we don't make money off of it, we still enjoy doing it. Braden loves it. I am a huge fan of the show. If any of you guys out there are huge fans of the show, please stop by the Patreon. If you can donate anything, we would appreciate it. On a side note, the tiers, depending on how much you're able to go, like what tier you can get, you can name NPCs for the game that the players would encounter. And I believe the highest tier of support, you can create your own magic item for the game. And it literally can be anything. It can do anything. And occasionally the players may eventually come across it. So, if you love D&D, if you love role-playing games in general, come by, check us out. At the very least, watch an episode or two. I guarantee you will walk away with at least a laugh in your pocket. Other than that, the only thing we ask is if you name NPCs or if you name a magic item, please no vulgarity. Like, the show is already pretty raunchy as it is, but there are certain limits to what we can put on YouTube. But other than that, guys, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us for the last hour and a half. I just want to say I love doing this. I love you guys as the audience, all you guys that are watching, whether you watch us when we stream or when you watch us when we post up to YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, come back and see us sometime. We are more than happy to have people on and talking with us, chatting with us. We read your comments if any of them get left. So let us know what you guys think. Until next time, love you guys.